Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 107 of the EE Power Talk, and today we are going to discuss a very important topic about internet. Na leo niko na mtu ambaye tunaweza shika shingo tunyonge vizuri kwa sababu ya zile maswali tumekuwa tukijiuliza about internet service provision. Bwana Steve.
Yes.
Welcome first of all. Hatukuagi na fujo. Lakini allow us today to direct all the bullets to you.
It is very okay.
First of all, how are you doing, sir?
I am fine. All is well, and we thank God.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to do the introduction for you. I've mentioned internet and all those things. What exactly do you do?
So my name is Steve Mwangi. I have a company called V2IT and another one called ISP Man. So V2IT sells internet to the small internet service providers. So before, I had another company that used to sell retail to like to the home, to hospitality, small businesses. But now we took a backseat and focused on serving the ISP community. We kind of became mtetezi while the small ISPs.
Yeah. When you say ISP, someone who doesn't know really what ISP is.
So internet service provider, the person who brings there are many different types of internet service providers, but the one that is commonly known is the one that now delivers internet last mile to the house, the one who connects you at home. That is your internet service provider, so the ISP.
So are you doing end-to-end where you are selling the internet to other ISPs and also selling to households?
No. So there's a conflict of interest and at that point where if we sell directly to our clients' clients, so if we deliver to your home, then they will not buy from us because we will now also compete with them in the market, which sometimes is unfair. For example, because of having a billing system, we're able to know who's doing very well and in which area. So let's say one of the regions, maybe Eastern, or let's say a university has come up and you see there's a surge of many internet service providers in that area. It would mean we also go and run cable in that area and also deploy. So we don't do that. We only serve the ISPs to avoid that conflict of interest.
So how long have you been doing ISP?
So it's going to be almost 5 years now,
Wow.
But for serving the wholesale industry has been only for 1 year now. We started at beginning of last year, towards the end of 2024, the whole of 2025, and God has been great because now we are looking at other countries like Uganda, Tanzania, and DRC.
How has the market been?
So the market is very competitive in Kenya. Kenyans are very competitive. It's for lack of a better word, it is crazy in Kenya. Because one, we have a very educated population. We have a lot of youths who do not have work. Sure. So once they realize, it doesn't matter, kama alisoma agriculture or whatever, as long as there's an opportunity, a Kenyan will go and try. So internet has been one of those areas where we have seen a surge of small internet service providers, and that has also pushed the prices of even the big internet service providers. Like now you can see the big telcos are coming up, looking at the Kadogo market, because out of like the 14 million households we have in Kenya, only about 1.2 is served legitimately by internet service providers. So you see that is even below 1%. No, sorry, below 10%. So the market is small that has been served. There's a very big opportunity, and so that's why you saw companies. One of the companies is now hiring to only concentrate on the Kadogo economy, and we've also seen a lot of international companies come in. So you'll see people who are head of IT in big companies. So I don't want to mention those companies' names, but after retiring, those guys are coming here to start internet service providers, and it's a market because everybody was concentrating on Kilimani, Runda, Kileleshwa, Muthaiga, Karen, the people we thought would pay. But the most interesting market was actually the Kadogo market. So now if you go to Mukuru, Madare, if you go to any kind of settlement that has a lot of people, that is where actually most of those international companies came and concentrated on. And they almost beat the others but the numbers that you see online, are self-reported. So we are required to submit to the communications authority at the end of the year how you're performing, because the fees and the licenses you're supposed to pay at the end of the year are according to how much there's a percentage that you're supposed to pay. So you have to self-report. So then people who are not legitimately registered do not report. So we have two sets of numbers. The numbers that are official and there are numbers that are not official. But I believe the regulators are coming on strong to make sure most of these ISPs are registered.
Now, you've mentioned regulators. When it comes to the Kenyan market in anything, there's this notion of how tricky regulations get, discouraging businesses and startups and all that. How has that been for you?
Okay. There has been a pushback from the okay. Let me put it this way. There are three types of licenses: Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3.
Sure.
So the Tier 3 license, which is now what was affordable for the smaller ISPs, was about, say, if you take both licenses, one is called an NFP license and an ASP license, it will cost you almost 500,000 shillings. So with somebody with 500,000 shillings in Kenya, do you think they would go to the regulator to pay or to start operating and then go and abide with the regulations later?
You'll start operating.
That is what has given birth to these small ISPs. But now the government has come and said, we are looking at it because we also want to create employment. We're going to create a Tier 4 license, but you cannot operate in a very big geographical region. So that will actually favor the small ISPs because they want to abide. I was talking to one guy yesterday. He's from KRA, and this is also again another regulator who's coming strong now to also look at the ISP space. They were saying, so what happened when the small ISPs came? They went to the market that was supposedly being served by the big Tier 1, Tier 2s. The telcos and all that. So they had to push back. We have the biggest employers. We are the biggest taxpayers. Then how comes that you're letting these guys operate like that? So we are losing revenue, and so we will reduce the taxes, we'll reduce the employment. And so regulators had to sit down and look at how do we curb this. So now step one was to make sure that everybody had a license. Then step two was now to make sure that everybody is also paying, there's VAT and excess duty. So most of them, since they were not visible, but they thought they were not visible because they still have a bank account, they still have a pay bill. So definitely the government, and I keep saying that, the government knows you operate. It's just that sometimes they turn a blind eye because maybe you're creating employment and the service you're also offering is a critical service. But I know this year all the regulators are coming hard to make sure that they understand. Also, it's a very critical industry because say a hacker has come from abroad and is operating like the guys who are arrested in Runda and they're hacking banks. How do you know who is serving them? That is why the regulation is very important from the government perspective. And that's why most countries, if you look at Ethiopia, Sudan, Rwanda, you just don't go and start an ISP. You must be registered, and the government is very hard on. You saw like now Uganda had to switch off the internet. How do you switch off people that you don't know? And that's why they had to request Starlink directly to switch off, then talk to the Uganda Communications Commission, UCC, to tell the ISPs to switch off during the times of elections, which most governments do at some point. Some governments, not many.
When it comes to those tiers, which tier are you operating in, or are there barriers of entry to those tiers?
For us, we are operating at Tier 3. The barriers to entry are now, one, it's a very expensive place to be because if, let's say, you're selling on the wholesale side, you must be, let's say, collocated in a data center. So data centers, they are real estate, but you only buy very small part. You see, like an apartment, say, in Ruaka, will cost you 30,000. But 1 U, which is this big, in a data center, will cost you 30,000. So that is already a barrier to entry. The equipment is expensive. The knowledge is also another barrier to entry. Then now for the licenses, if you wanted, say, to operate in the whole country, that is again prohibitively expensive. So you'll find everybody operating, or the ones who are starting or have started recently are definitely operating at tier 3, and some are waiting for the tier 4 to come out so that they can abide.
Very nice. So now, I am an end user.
Yes.
What are things that I'm supposed to understand before I engage any ISP?
In ISP. So there are a few things that you can definitely tell. Number one, the most important thing is reliability, followed by customer support or customer service. So you want to be able, let's say you want to send a document to maybe a CV, you have a job interview, so you cannot have your internet down, or you would want somebody you can call and immediately they bring back the internet, right?
Sure.
So if customer support is extremely important, so when the internet service provider comes, and say you want to support the small ISP, what you should do, ask for their customer service number, call them just call when they are there. If it rings in the pocket, then there's a problem. Because this is the guy who's going to be troubleshooting, dealing with you at night. There'll be a problem. You can tell that, yes, I want to support them, but if it's critical, you might need to have two service providers. If maybe you're a work from home guy, or in the gig economy, you want to have another service provider. Number 2, who's the upstream provider? So this is something you can also check afterwards. You can do a speed test and check where they are buying their bandwidth. So that will inform the reliability, because we have 2 types. There are people who will buy from the telco and resell. There are people who will go to the data center, aggregate their own capacity and resell. If actually their name coincides with their, when you do a speed test, the name that you see, sometimes that also informs you that they are actually a credible internet service provider, because now those ones have gone ahead to register their own, ASN, which is now the number that internationally identifies that internet service provider. So there are many, but not all are credible. Not all know what they are doing, but we appreciate, because it was a way for them to also earn a living. Yes.
So now, there is this issue of data protection and all that. How much of data, customer data, does an ISP access?
Now, I would say an ISP, if they really wanted to know what you're doing, and because I've also been an ISP, and I'll tell you on the back end, mostly it's the phone number, maybe where you live and all that. But 99% of the ISPs do not have an interest with the data that what you're doing, whether you're watching pornography or Netflix or 99.99. And I can speak that well, knowing what happens on the other side.
Sure.
They hardly care about that. What they care about the most is, are you able to pay, and are you able to pay on time? Are they able to offer reliable service? Because hardly do nobody comes looking for, like, at data analytics, how many people are paying for internet below 500. Hardly will anybody look at that. What they are mostly interested in is, are you able to pay, and can they offer good service? I would say that even in the 4 years where I was in the ISP space, we never, even on one day, tried to understand which traffic is going where. Why are they watching more of Netflix than Showmax or that? No, not really. Yeah.
When it comes to, there was a certain shockwave that came when an international company came. Then they said it's coming to cannibalize ISPs and all that.
Yes, correct.
At which position were you at that specific moment?
Okay. So at that time, I was moving from being an ISP to now selling, concentrating on the industry.
Yeah.
And so that really helped, because if you find people who come from the US or Europe and come here, they actually say our internet is very expensive. But also what they don't understand is, because we're also fetching the content from there. This video will be uploaded in YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube is not domiciled here.
Yeah.
So we are getting content from their country. So there is a lot of infrastructure from Europe or from the US to Kenya, or from China to Kenya. So that makes it expensive. But that company actually helped, because it came, and most of the companies that have come are looking at the Kadogo market. So they kind of try to push the prices a bit down and make internet accessible. There were areas, let's say you're you're in Deya, or you're in Samburu,
Yeah.
you're in Maralal. Big telcos were not concentrating on some of those areas. So you'd find the masts that are there are not really trying, even the provision. You see, that mast has the capacity and the capability of how much it can handle.
Sure.
So they were just, to handle voice and SMSs and the data, the mobile data. But now, connection, when you ask, maybe you'd be told that mast only has, let's say, 50 Mbps. So when that company came, it pushed actually the ISPs and the telcos in Kenya to actually upgrade in some of those areas, because those are the areas they were targeting. That company now is saying it's going to give one of its services on a lipa mdogo mdogo service. Again, pushing back to reduce even the prices further.
Yeah.
That's why you can see the telcos now saying we will come up with tokenized payments, so where you can now create your own bundle at home. You can say, on Monday I want to have 1 gig, but on Tuesday I want you to reduce my speed to 10 Mbps. Normally I want you to pause my service for 3 days, because like for somebody say who has an Airbnb, for example, they probably don't want to pay for a monthly package. They would want to pay on Monday, then pause if they don't have a client on Tuesday,
Sure.
and resume on Wednesday. So they only pay per day, for example. That is going to be possible. The other thing that I think needs to be done, and many companies are trying, is you being able to move with your account. You see how you move from house 1, you go to house 2. This can happen with anything. It should be the same way with your meter, token, everything. Token for power, token for water, same with internet. Should be able to move with all your accounts.
Yeah.
And that's why, because if you are able to move with your KPLC meter number, for example,
Yeah.
you'd probably put 100,000 or 10,000. But now, if you know you're moving, you reduce how much you're putting as tokens.
Yeah.
So the reason you're reducing is because you want to move and leave it close to zero. Then they're losing potential revenue from you, or from people who can actually maybe have a standing order that sits in the wallet. So that company really helped to come towards the Kadogo. But that is the one, because there was a lot of hula baloo. There are other companies that have come that are not known. Yes, but they've only concentrated on the mashinani and the low-cost areas. Yeah.
So now, there is this culture thing with everything.
Yes.
And for a very long time, Wi-Fi has been a measure of status. If you have Wi-Fi in your house, you are doing well. How have you been able to interpret that in terms of when you're marketing your products and all that?
So now, slowly, so COVID changed that. Because after COVID, when kids were told to study from home, kids were told to learn from home, people needed to, even the Kadogo, everybody, whether in the smallest or remotest of areas, needed to have internet. But that growth was meant, increase of infrastructure, increase of resources, more resources were needed in terms of manpower and money and all that. So the telcos could not handle that alone. That is what created the opportunity, and that is why there was an influx of small players in the market. So in the future, what I think the future will be, you'll find clusters. Either there'll be acquisitions from the big players acquiring the small guys, which happened in the West, maybe Europe, mostly US. You'd find the dominant player will acquire the small players.
Yeah.
But it is no longer a status symbol now. It's almost, because what happened, there's one company that came and said, they can charge up to 700 shillings per month. Now, that means in those areas where, it was hard for people to afford. And I agree. It could have been looked at as a status symbol, because say somebody is renting below 10,000 shillings.
Sure.
How would they spend 25% to pay for internet? They wouldn't.
Yes.
It is a status symbol, because if my rent is 6,000, so I'm living in a one-roomed house and my rent is 6,000. I can't pay 2,500 or 3,000, 50% of my rent to pay internet. I won't. But now that created an opportunity, and unfortunately, it's foreigners. And I keep saying this because for us, we believed in, we are benchmarking with the big guys.
Yeah.
They're charging 3K, me I'll charge 2.5. I'll charge 2K.
Yes.
But not looking at the person you're serving. Maybe their salary is 15,000.
Sure.
how will they be able to afford even that status symbol? So that's when there's one dominant company that came up with that model of for the Kadogo pays 500, 700 per month, and they really changed the industry. But that is not known. The one that is known is the one that everybody was focusing on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So internet service provision is a mass market product. How have you been able to deal with the challenges that comes when you're targeting mass market?
Fortunately, TikTok changed everything.
Sure.
Because I realized when you only have a beautiful office, you have billboards and all that, you'll find somebody in Mandera will not know what you're selling. They'll never see your billboard.
Sure.
There's somebody in Dunga Beach who will never see your billboard.
Yeah.
Because they're in Bondo, they're in Kisumu, they're in Mandera or Turkana.
Yeah.
But TikTok, online, now everybody's online. So we started with, pushing hotspots equipment and now, wholesale capacity. And for us, most of the sales came from online. Then also, because of being in the industry, we had a lot of friends, a lot of consultations, and they would say, do this, try this, don't say this, do this. And even up to date, I still don't give the inner workings of how the ISP works, even on that TikTok.
Sure.
Yes, because it's still an industry like any other. And somebody asked me, those people who sell cars, have they ever shown you where they buy in Dubai or in Japan or in the UK? They don't. They'll tell you the features of the car. Then they'll come and tell you, if you want this car, it is 1 million shillings.
Correct.
Yes.
Wow. Also, with the mass market, most of the time comes with compromise in quality.
Correct.
How have you been able to mitigate that?
So personally, we don't serve the last mile, but I can talk on behalf of the small ISPs.
Yeah.
If there's one industry where I know people have tried to be professional, it's in the small and micro ISP space. Because you're selling reliability. You're selling, somebody wants to know, tomorrow if I have an exam, if I have a webinar, I'll be able to be online. And fortunately, it's an industry that has grown. But, there's still people who do not do the right thing, trying to cut corners, using, for example, carrying internet and power on the same cable to, to create hotspots and all that.
Yeah.
I've seen the authorities are very strong on curbing that, but it's a self-regulating. It will self-regulate in a way, because if you don't offer good service, the competition is very stiff, and so it will kick you out without you knowing. So the difference between the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 is that tier 1 can operate in the whole country. Then tier 2 can operate regionally in specific areas, but tier 3 has a maximum of 3 counties that they can operate in. And now, tier 1s have the advantage of having things operating even in GSM and things like that. Yes, so that's the main difference. And we are glad to have tier 4, which is now going to even be restricted to even a smaller geographical region.
There are these things we call internet speeds.
Yes.
Mostly they are the ones which determine the packages that I, as an end consumer, will use. Because most of the time, let's say I want 10 Mbps. You tell me 10 Mbps is 1500.
Yes.
I want 25 Mbps. Then, now, when explaining Mbps to a person who is using the internet for the first time, let's say the Wi-Fi and everything.
Yes.
How do you break it down for someone to, or what constitutes the internet speed?
So you can sell internet in 2 ways. You can sell it according to, like I open a pipe for you. Let's give an illustration of water. So I can give you either a wide pipe, a small pipe to use. So probably your upstream provider is buying it that way. And so at a nyonga pipe, depending on how much you're able to pay. So according to time, so tutasema 10 Mbps for 1 month. That you can sell it that way, or you can sell it according to usage, the gigabits that you actually download on your site. So for mobile data is the one that is used where you say you cap it according to usage. This other one, we are measuring it according to time. So we are saying 10 Mbps, 20 Mbps. So how wide of a pipe? You understand? So tukupe pipe nono, tukupe ka pipe kadogo, depending on how much you're paying. So that is, I don't know if that illustration actually makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But how much you can pay is how much we can give on the other side.
There are these instances where they have very good download speeds, but upload is...
Okay.
What really happens?
What happens is your upstream provider will also buy what you call dedicated speeds. So dedicated means, and even companies, you'll find companies will buy dedicated speeds. They'll say, I want 10 Mbps up and 10 Mbps down. You understand?
Yes.
However, if I'm to resell to an apartment, they will not be able to afford the same. So this is expensive because it's dedicated. It's like saying I want this highway with no car. Ndio nikiamua kupita na have good speeds. Of course, that car will move faster. But now, somebody else wants good speeds but at an affordable price. What do? We tell you, ingieni na gari zenyu 20 pamoja. So I'll bring the 10 Mbps and share it maybe with 5 people so that ingieni na gari zenyu. So if you're on a bend, it'll depend on how many cars are in front of you. If that again illustration makes sense, it's auko na gari yako peke yako on the highway.
Yes.
So if you have someone who is using more than the other, atanyonya. There are ways to curb that, but mkiingia nyinyi wote at the same time, definitely the speeds will go down. That's why you'll find most complaints ziko jioni in the evening when people come from work, ama during the holidays. Like in December, most people are complaining the internet speeds are not good and all that. But it's because what they have is actually a shared package, not a dedicated package.
Yes. So you have also, if you are taking, let's say, for people of live streaming like us and all that, we have to be specific with the service provider.
Correct. Like for a media house,
Yeah.
like let's say a TV station, a radio station, and you're live streaming continuously, you definitely need a dedicated service for internet. And any ISP can actually provide that to you, but the price will not be the same. It will probably be 10 times more expensive than the amount you're paying. So what happens is we have a champagne taste, but a beer budget. So, yes. So you want to take champagne, but your budget ni a beer.
Drink water.
Just drink water. Appetite yako iko juu lakini ufiki bei. That's the challenge with Kenyans. You find in a house kuna mtoto anacheza game. Mbocha amepatia watu 5 password ya internet, wewe hujui. And then wewe uko na simu 2, wife ako na simu 2, you have a TV, you have so many gadgets in one house, but you only want to pay for 10 Mbps. It will not work. And that's why you'll always hear business package, home package. The difference is the types of they are saying for the business package we will give maybe better download speeds and a bit better upload, but at home hapo kidogo tuta reduce kidogo mshare, ndio we also able to give you a better price. They are not the same. Yes, ni broccoli na skuma.
But both are vitamins.
But both are vitamins.
It tastes too tofauti.
Exactly.
That's very nice, because one of the biggest questions personally I've had is you get, man, I don't need this download ya 50 Mbps.
Yes.
Nataka hii upload.
Yes.
Na haki iko 0.09. Time yenye nataka kwenda live.
Yes.
Download is very good.
Yes.
Like we can stream anything from the internet.
Yes.
Us to watch. Like you can watch Netflix on 4K.
Yes.
But
you can't upload.
But you can't go like
4K.
Upload a TikTok. It is taking I don't know how many minutes with the same speed.
But let's look at something very simple.
Yeah.
Netflix, when you watch, most of the time, your video iko stored hapa Kenya.
Oh, really?
Yes. Here, if you are to upload to Netflix, haitakuwa stored hapa. First, lazima iende kwa the data center in the US.
Yes.
So what you're saying ni tukupatie route ya kukupeleka US. So that is expensive. However, if video after ume-upload, the first person watches, iko na interest, itakuja iseviwe hapa Kenya. Now more people will watch. So unaona hizi movie tukiingia kwa Netflix, unaona watch hii video, watch hii. These ones are the best in Kenya. All those videos are stored locally. when you press it plays it instantly. Probably if there was to be a lag, it would have been the first and only person who watched that movie. But since you got interest, they pull it and bring it closer to you. That is why now hype yote ya data centers all over eco, because they are bringing services closer. If Microsoft brings the data center they are talking about in geothermal, then the people in Uganda will now not maybe fetch their data from South Africa or from the US. They'll fetch it closer. Now Kenya can become a regional hub, and that's why there's a fight for who can have bigger, better data centers. Yes, and now the problem with data centers is water, natural cooling. So you'll find you'll see one of the telcos has it, let's say, on Red Hill because of the natural cooling. It's about 2 degrees lower. The temperatures are a bit lower. So there are areas that are definitely earmarked, maybe places like Ngong Hills because of the wind power, and it's also cold. You'll find geothermal because of the power. So power is the issue. And number 2, it's an expensive type of real estate to invest in. So I don't think local companies, most of them, actually can afford. Very few can afford to have. So there are many data centers and other companies that have had that want to set up regional data centers where you can have them in almost every other county.
So the long and the short of it, anything that you want to access in the internet or from the internet is saved physically somewhere.
Yes. Everything, every single video you've uploaded as Daddy Blessing is saved on somebody's machine. Only that now that machine has to have some reliability. Power, for example. Stima hizi potea. So a data center will have maybe 3 sources of power. So hata kama ni stima, hazizi toka from the same direction. Lazima hii itoke from this direction, ingine itoke from this direction. Then have everything in pairs. Ikuwe na kama ni generator mbili. Kama ni power backups in terms of batteries, bado 2 pairs. So itakuwa hii kifail, hii ingine take over. Hii kifail, hii take over. And almost in tech, almost everything goes in pairs. So utapata even the equipment you use, ziko na 2 sources of power hapa nyuma. So umeka source 1 na source 2. In case this goes down. So if we were building a data center, one of our biggest marketing campaigns would be how reliable in terms of uptime. 99 point how many nines? Not 99, 99.999. So competition inakwanga hizo 9 ziko hapo nyuma. 9.99, 0.999. That is the competition. So reliability is key because mtu hawezi play video ya Daddy Blessing alafu haiplay. It's because ile data center iko saved, probably hakuna stima. Now you would complain. Yes, so that cannot happen. It's unheard of. Yes.
Now, enough with the technical bits of these things.
Yes.
When an ISP says internet is down, what should that be interpreted in the head of an end consumer?
Hapa sasa ndio we are not forgiving. Because there are many reasons. Even the ISP sometimes does not automatically know. Even the big telcos sometimes do not immediately know. So it can be cable imekatika, for example. In your, let's say an ISP has run, just to come to you, the nearest point of presence or where they have their cassava room is maybe 1 kilometer, 2, 3, 5 kilometers away. So they have to inspect that cable. But there is equipment to help know where that cable may be mekatikia. And this happens for many reasons. A branch can just fall and cut the cable. A lorry would come with a big load and cut that cable. A competitor who is malicious can just come and know India, the blessing. You understand? So everybody goes down. That is reason number 1. Reason number 2, probably let's say they've not paid the upstream provider. Ulikuwa unanunua internet. Pia unajua unanunua. Na pia wewe mwingine ananunua. If they have not paid, amenyongewa pia on the other side. You understand? So pia that can be another reason. So there are many reasons equipment can fail. Maybe in their point of presence, maybe like when I was on ISP, somebody came with a hose pipe, akamwagilia equipment zote maji, and they got fried. So before, and this is expensive equipment, before you buy, configure, uamshe kila mtu, nobody understands. Ni complain after complain after complain, without knowing that, by the way, these people maybe sometimes don't sleep even a whole 24 48 hours mpaka systems za mwili zina shut down unakuta umeenda washroom umefikiria umemaliza ukitembea unaona mambo inaanza kuharibika peke yake because you've not slept for 2 days. That happens a lot with small ISPs. Sometimes it's a pole needs to be moved maybe on the road or a road hiyo pole ikimoviwa, by the way they will call everyone except the ISP. Yes, when that pole is being moved they will call, kama if there is any other infrastructure hapo or a road is coming to be built and they need to dig that area, they will call, kama ni KPLC itapigiwa kando, kama ni mtu wa maji atapigiwa, ISP atapigiwa, notice tu imekatwa, you understand? So the guy at home is calling the ISP, only that the ISP is also asking, yani amge tupigia, we moved. These days they are a bit forgiving, so you'll find watapigia, but now it would be the registered ones are the ones to be called, the ones who are known officially. Those who are not known officially pia ataangushwa tu. And lastly maybe sometimes disagreements, watu kama landlords wanaingililia hiyo job, napata the landlord also wants to become an ISP, so they come and shut down. It can be a power blackout. So if there is no redundancy, and even if there is redundancy, inakwanga power goes, then you only have redundancy maybe for 12 hours. So after 12 hours, what happens? The equipment also goes down. So you don't have internet at home. Because internet ni kama handshake from one person to another, to another, to another. So whoever can fail, it can be an upstream provider failing. Because even the masts or the BTSs or where most of the smaller ISPs get the capacity can fail. Sometimes they fail. And for like the masts that are on the rooftops, mostly you find there was a landlord who said, mimi amwezi eka kwangu generator. So power goes and internet has to go down as well. Because they said no generator, maybe no solar. Now what do? Power ikienda, internet. There are very few, but that happens as well.
How is the business of ISP?
It is a tough industry, extremely competitive, cutthroat. Because everybody who's graduating, say from a technical university, that is like the first business they go to. So it was lucrative about like 3, 4, 5 years ago. There were very few. But now the costs remain the same, but the prices keep dropping. Okay, the upstream providers also have dropped the price a bit, but also the consumers are always shopping for the lowest price. Sometimes without knowing that the lowest price might mean I'm compromising on quality. So I will not have a power backup to give you a lower price. So you'll find in a building there are 2 small providers and a big one. There's a reason this big one will probably have uptime more than the small one because of higher investment. And then after the small one, there's another smaller one, probably who's starting, who can come and undercut everyone. But maybe their operations, regulations, they are not abiding by what they should do.
What are the overheads for an ISP?
So the overheads, the biggest overheads in labor, number one, because you want somebody to be on the other side to pick the call, you want somebody to fix the cables, you want... number 2 is equipment. Every house must have a router, for example. So some ISPs give those free routers. It's a cost. It's a cost. And, there are customers who have cats, and those cats love to play with those 2 yellow cables, the patch cords. And that you see, every time you call that ISP to come, there's transport cost. So the overheads are really, really high. It's one of those industries where you make 10,000 and spend maybe 9,500. Yes. The margins are extremely thin because the competition is also very high.
When it comes to scalability, how have you been able to scale, especially in such a market as Kenya, where I would say in such an industry is very volatile?
It is very volatile. So, and that is why we are looking to go to other countries where it is easier. Like if you go to Uganda, for example, there's one Kenyan company that went there and it is doing very well. Actually, now there are like 3. Burundi is a Kenyan company doing very well. In DRC, there are some Kenyan companies. Most of the deployments in Eastern Central Africa, actually, the consultants and the people doing the deployments are from Kenya. So you go, you find, come on, structured cabling. Like all the cabling done in a building, that was done by a Kenyan company. So it has been tough. It has been challenging. but we are looking outwards than inwards. Yes. So Tanzania, for example, in Zanzibar, there's a big internet problem.
Yeah.
Yes. So here, this is where we only have that kind of competition. So scaling has been hard. So you gain. It's the only industry where you always lose customers. Always lose customers.
Yeah.
Every month you must wake up to know maybe I'll lose 10% of my clients. So you must gain 20%. So you're continuously marketing. Yes.
What determines the capacity that an ISP can handle in terms of clientele?
The upstream. So there are different things. The first one is the amount of capital they have.
Sure.
So you can go, let's say, to a place that has no internet. Let's say Baragoi had no internet. Now equipment has been upgraded. You're able to get internet.
Sure.
So how fast you can scale will depend on, do you really have the capital? Do you have the manpower? Do you have the skill? Because the manpower is one of the biggest things that you will have to pay for is the manpower.
Yes.
Then the equipment. Equipment is definitely expensive. Then there is the upstream provider who will also charge you according to the growth. And so there is actually a Kenyan company that is coming to try and help circumvent that by giving you bandwidth for free, wholesale internet for free, and then you have a profit share so that you don't struggle to scale, because most people, internet becomes one of the most expensive components when you're scaling. Yes. Because if you have 10 clients, you have this amount. If you have 100, then you also increase the bandwidth you're buying. If you have 1,000, you keep increasing. So you're increasing your costs in terms of labor, equipment, and your upstream capacity.
When it comes to financing, in Kenya mostly, many financiers and financial institutions tend not to side with service-based startups.
Correct.
How has it been for you?
Hallelujah.
Yeah,
you're speaking to the choir.
Yeah.
Internet or ISPs are some of the people who are totally neglected by the financial institutions. And not only ISPs. Anything in tech, anyone building anything in tech will tell you the bank does not understand. So you'll sit with someone, say you're building a data center in Kenya. If the funding was from a Kenyan bank, you'll never get the money. I can vouch for that. It is almost impossible to get that kind of money. If you're starting an ISP, it's impossible to get the money from Kenya because you sit with an account manager. So yes, other than the fact that they fund, the bank operates by giving you finances according to your cash flows and their assets.
Yes.
The bank does not, like when I went to DRC, I don't know, should I mention the bank?
Sure.
Yeah. So Equity Bank has done an amazing job in DRC. So what have they done? They went to DRC and understood the industry. So it's like the mining industry. The director that I found there knew more about mining than some of the mining companies. So you'd go to a mine, and instead of the guys in the mine explaining how the mining of copper works and the purification and the production works, it's actually the director who would stand and say, okay, now wait, let me explain. And he would explain. He really understood the process. And now they would finance the whole chain.
Sure.
They would finance the guy who's doing the excavation of the ore, the guys who's doing the production, the subcontractors. They would finance everything. The equipment providers, subcontractors, every part, Equity finances. That's why they're doing an amazing job. Let's come to the internet space. There's no bank that has taken time to understand how does this business operate. In any tech field, let's say you're building a software, they will hardly understand. So you'll explain, then you'll be told to explain again, then you'll explain again, then explain again. I think, I don't know, it's maybe they have other places to learn that are easier. But, trade, if you're maybe selling routers or equipment like access points and cables, that they will understand because you're buying from China worth $1 million and selling at 1.2 or 1.1. That one they will understand. But in the internet business, that's why it's very hard for you to see small internet service providers going to mid-level and becoming big. And you say in the last 5 years, we have seen an ISP come from zero to now compete with the telcos.
Sure.
It will be almost impossible. Yes.
Because of the financing.
Financing is almost impossible in Kenya. But abroad, like you see, like in the US, the government itself funds the small ISP to provide internet to the people in mashinani, because it's now looked at as a necessity for everyone.
Yeah.
So that they're able to access financing. But here, my goodness, it hardly will an ISP tell you. I'm yet to see any that has been funded, and that's why now again there's an international company again that has come to start funding the ISPs. So they spot opportunities where we are failing locally. Yes, like it will have been an amazing place to now even fund small ISPs to go to other countries. Let's go to Tanzania. Let's go to Zambia. The internet is not very good. I wanted to say horrible, but not very good in Zambia and Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
In those areas, Eastern DRC, these are places where the internet is not very good, and Kenyans can just go. See, like how Wachinku who come up and they get funding from their government, and they do projects here.
Yes.
That this would be an amazing field to now push. You say if you can go to Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan, and start an ISP as a government, we will fund you in a systematic manner. We'll fund the deployment, the equipment, getting the licenses and all, and even have agreements with that government to give licenses to your people. Like, that's what like the Turkish people do. When they come here, there's a lot of funding. Lots of Eastern Europeans are also coming. You find their governments are heavy on pushing for collaborations with Kenyan companies. If we can do that, Kenya will go to another level. The young people know what to do.
Yeah.
We just like your backing. Shiko mkono na gava ikwambie, now we are going to Eastern DRC. We as the government will talk to DRC and we will talk to Equity. Ikupatie loan as long as you will pay Equity. That is amazing.
Now, from what I'm getting, I can pinpoint 3 things. Yeah? Maybe a generational gap.
Yes.
As we know what to do.
Yes.
Number 2, the people with power don't really understand what you're trying to say.
Correct.
And number 3, the financiers are not investing time to understand whatever it is that you're bringing to the market.
That is true. So all the 3 are very true. One, you'll be surprised. Some because we've been able to, through an association, we've been able to talk to like the people in government.
Yes.
They really understand. They understand. But sometimes the way government operates, there's a system, there's a procedure, is what stifles how fast they can move. But they really understand. You find some really brilliant people who know more than the ISPs know. So like one of the places in government, in ICT, you find actually very brilliant people doing their PhDs in IT. And they know more than you.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
However, they tell you this is how government operates. So sometimes they want to. But now when it comes to the financial institutions, I feel like it's a deliberate, there's no effort to even understand. Not the ISP space, the IT space in general. Altogether. If you have a deployment, say, like now there's an airport built in Kolwezi in DRC. It doesn't have systems. If you go and get that tender, it will be very hard for you to access funding from Kenya. And yet it's a very easy project that you can do from anywhere. But we see Eastern European companies like Bolt and what have you coming here and taking over with no office.
Whatsoever.
No, not even, you don't even need an office.
Yeah.
Yes, so like Kenyans have come up with ISP billing systems, for example. Yetu inaitwa ISP man. There's no support. How can we support you to take it to South Sudan? How can we support you to take it to Rwanda? Like what the Turkish government does is every billboard a Turkish company, let's say kama Dr. Mattress in Aeka, they get a subsidy from the government. Yes. Up to sometimes ranges of 60, 70, 80%. Yes. So akieka billboard, umlipisha 200,000 and a claim. You understand?
Yeah.
The Indian government does something similar. There is 2 times a year where you are allowed to go for an exhibition as a company that is trying to push exports, and you also get a rebate from the government.
Wow.
Yes, so they will pay for the stand, they will pay for the flight, they will pay for everything. But bora ukuja na marisiti. Imagine nani gava. So that's a deliberate effort ya kukusukuma uende so that you sell externally. Now there are like, I think like 20 billing systems now that have been built locally by Kenyans. These are amazing products za kuwasukuma. Again, even the one that was dominant before the smaller ISPs came was still from Eastern Europe. Yes. No. But you'll find these, you know, the trade attaches all over the world are pushing their own products. But even the Kenyan trade attaches can push for small Kenyan companies' innovations all over. Even South Africa tries. Sometimes unapata a lot of delegates coming from achana na hii ya kujuana ile. You know somebody who is in a certain ministry, so there is this trip, unaitishwa kaya so mbili, alafu unaenda kwa hiyo trip. No. Tunasema a legitimate company. Kama let's say Bolt Glove or something. Inakam Kenya. Inasupportiwa kabisa na the government to make it in Kenya. Then they go to Uganda, same. Then they go to Rwanda, same. Ivo. And you find it's almost an African sensation. Your company atajaeka local presence. But it's that the government pushing. Because Kenya iko na trade attaches all over. Like the ones in DRC, they are doing an amazing job. Ile ya kukuambia, what do you need? How can we support you? If we can get more of that, mimi nakwambia my youth wataacha kutafuta job hapa. Because when you go to hapa mbele ya one country, ukiingia to UG 30 kilometers, when you realize Kenya is developed. Yes. Huko ni ochamba za matope and all this. So it creates an opportunity because ni kama Kenya 20-30 years ago. So everything, you look like a genius by the way.
When you introduce some things. That's why your Uganda is very...
Yes. So you find M-Pesa starts in Kenya. After like 3, 4, 5 years, mobile money starts in Uganda. So it's like you've seen the future. If you've grown up in Kenya, you're doing this podcast. After time, Ugandans copy. Then Tanzanians. Then we go to Zambians. So now if you go to Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, hizo countries, now you find Kenya 40 years. Na uko nyuma kabisa. So the internet ni mbaya, kila kitu ni mbaya. So you look like a genius. Unakuja tunawaambia, I can do this whole building like internet dafanya. I'll give you this kind of systems. It's amazing. So when the DRC uone kwa airport unaandikwa jina. Kuna mtu anakuuliza ati unaitwa nani? Daddy Blessing. Haya utalipa hapo, ni kama ile hospitali. Yes. Unapeana cash. Yes. Ukimaliza cash unakuja, tunakusainia, unasainiwa hapa, unaingia. So but in Kenya you come, unapeana passport, inaskaniwa, unascan vidole, unaingia. Now in Dubai ukienda unapita tu na kupiga picha, inakufungulia gate, unaenda. So you see, tunakopia kina Dubai, but other countries zinatukopi. So sisi we focus so much on trying to be easy akina Dubai na nini, but we forget we are a resource sasa to the downstream.
We're not capitalizing on the people who are copying us.
If you took my years back with another 10 years, uniambia nianze biz 10, I would not go to Dubai. Instead I would go to Zambia. I would go to Tanzania. Just copy what Kenyans are doing. Let me give you an example. Billing for kila mall squeeze kona hiyo kitu nalipa 100 bob, unaingia. Squeeze kama ni hapo tukiingia na jinua tu. So ukienda in other countries, you look like a magician, you look like a wizard. Unawaambia mimi naweza kuwa na charge kila gari naingia, you understand? They might not have the money the Kenyans have, but those things are necessary in those countries. You kienda hosi unapata bado ni kitabu. Unaona? So you go unaambia mimi naweza wapatia system so that mtu unajua 1 2 3 like that.
How much of a bottleneck is policy in Kenya?
I don't think it is. I feel like there's a lot of goodwill now. Because we went and met CS Kabogo. And you find there's goodwill now from government. They are like, before I leave, I have to help you guys do this. So I feel like there's now a deliberate effort to help Kenyans. Where I feel we need to do more is just now on pushing the youth to stop thinking Kenya and start thinking Africa. That is where I feel bado in terms of policy, we are not pushing the policy of Kenyans to become exporters of knowledge and technology. Here it's easy. Like you use M-Pesa to do anything. Go to the US, people still line up to go to the bank and withdraw cash. But my shosho can do better. She can send money on M-Pesa, on mobile money, right? Not many countries. Go and to about DRC. It is not common. It is cash. So we assume the systems that are here are Africa iko hivyo. Africa is way behind Kenya. Kwanza in terms of technology, speeds the internet, the innovations, anything that you're doing in Kenya, you can replicate. I'll give you an example. Kenyans started setting up hotspots. Hapa Kenya. Then the wave went to Uganda. We started even doing TikTok videos. When one company went to Ghana, they were like, we've been watching you and copying what you guys are doing in Kenya. Yes. So Kenya is like where we ignite the fire and these people copy what we are doing after some time. So there is a big opportunity of just copying. Oh, Kenya tunafanyanga hivi. Yes, you go and replicate in another country in the region.
In everything, politics affect.
Politics do affect.
What are the politics in terms of ICT in general?
The biggest that I have seen, because before we created a hospital information management system that we wanted to give for free. That's like 10 years ago. So we wanted to have like a system where now this was a different company.
Sure.
It was for health informatics. We collaborated with different universities abroad and came up with a system where you go to hospital 1, that information is shared with hospital 2. Because why is it that when you go to Kenyatta, for example, when you go to Aga Khan, you're required sometimes to even redo the tests.
Correct.
Why can't they just access your medical? So your medical information should stay with you.
True.
Scan my maybe I'm unconscious, but I'm allergic to a certain type of medicine. Scan my fingerprint, and it gives you my allergies. This is what I'm allergic to, and all that. This is my name. You go anywhere, and that will work. If I go to the bank and give my fingerprint, and they're able to access my data, it should be the same, right?
Yes, yes.
But now when we went to. Okay, I'll not mention that one, but one of the biggest platforms in Kenya.
Sure.
We told them we want you to help us host this program. They said we will host it for free. Okay, and we asked how did you get this funded? They told us they went to NGOs, because most NGOs anything less than $20,000 you can be. They don't need a lot of meetings. They can just fund. And we went to many NGOs and they were willing to collaborate. But one thing we forgot is the political side of things.
Sure.
So by the time it came, the NGOs cannot fund you if you're not aligned with government. What does the ministry want? At that time, we went to the ministry, were told you would need to see a certain director. That director frustrated us, I think, for 2 years. The system is ready. We're willing to give it for free. Because we wanted to monetize, like how you pay for service. If somebody is paying in a hospital,
yes,
it will bill you an extra 20 bob. You see, but the system is free. Whether it's for blood, whether it's medicine. So
yes,
it was a brilliant system. We took 2 years to create it, but it was just frustrated by Sasa, the political side of things that we did not know until we went to one room and somebody told us the problem you have is that this system is also being created by another company that knows how to do it politically. Would you be willing to go and collaborate with them? That dream died. Yes, it died like that. But it was a brilliant system. So, but I feel like I keep coming back to, I feel like this government, or even the way we are progressing, we have younger people in government who actually understand. You see, sometimes the problems is that the people who don't understand are the ones who are vocal. The people who understand are in the back end.
Yeah.
You see, so the guy you're seeing who makes the decisions is the one who's not understanding. So they try and explain inagonga tu ukuta. Yeah, and that has been the problem.
Yeah. I have asked that question deliberately because in everything, we have had great innovations and everything.
Yeah.
And it dies when the politics of things is introduced.
100%.
Because many founders, startups, devs, and all those, I've had similar stories of like, I have a very good system, but the moment it has gone through all types of verifications and quality checks and everything, but it died when one person in the political alignment
Yes.
did not align with the...
This would be my advice to anybody who's doing a system so that they don't make a similar mistake.
Yes.
Don't focus on government. Do not focus. Let government be your secondary client, not your initial client.
Yes.
So we wanted it to first roll out in all the public hospitals for free, and then private. Do it the other way around. First do it in private. Let government come to you. You know, when you're really doing a good job, but don't focus on government. Because one of the problems we had found at that time, it was 10 years ago, was you'd go to a hospital and now ask for the bottlenecks. What is the problem with the current system that you're using? Yeah. And they would say it was shoved to us. We were not involved when it is being created. We were told this is the best. So, like, you know, one of the amazing things we had, like, you know, the graph of how the child is progressing and all that. It was an amazing thing. It was, you know, you automate it.
Yes.
Because we were to start the history of a child from when they're in the stomach. Pre, then ante, then, you know, so you have history of how the pregnancy came, when the child, because normally in Kenya, the hospital documents are destroyed every 7 years.
Yes.
So if I asked you how you were, maybe you had a certain allergy when you were 1 year old, there's no hospital that has that record. That is a problem. So we really wanted, you have a whole journey from when somebody is born until they die. Yes. Most hospitals, another challenge we found was, you know, easy. Like there was a system used by the government called the CANREG, Cancer Registry. The challenge we found in that department was, you know, what was recorded is post. They knew people after people have come to report. No, there's nothing, no prediction of how it was going to happen. You know, how many people have it right now? Even today, I'm sure there isn't an accurate system that knows how many people, for example, in Kenya who have cancer. It's not there. Because we only mostly record those who die of and post after maybe somebody has suffered the illness for so long that is when they're appearing on the system. It's impossible. And some of the big hospitals in Kenya wanted to collaborate on that project. Man, it was expensive. It took time. I'll tell you, sometimes, the political side messes the IT side of things. But I would still advise, don't focus on government. Focus on the private side. When you grow, the government will come. And if they don't come, just focus on the private.
You already have the market.
But there are like I remember there was a delegation that had come from Rwanda at that time to come and see that system. But there was goodwill. We just didn't have the knowledge of not to focus on the public hospitals and all that at that time. But now I think there's some guys trying to do the same, and things are improving and getting better.
I think that's a system you should also expand, maybe. As you're focusing on, because it's a good system.
It is a good system that would help, but it is hard. Man, we had a big team. It was expensive. It was an expensive project.
I think frustration sometimes gives you, that ick. I don't want to do it.
No, we were frustrated at that time because there was a big tender that was floated. It went, I think, for billions, and you want to give it for free. Then, and this thing is supposed to cost billions. You see, that was our biggest problem.
Conflict of interest.
There was a lot of conflict, but we didn't know. We were young and stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, there are some lessons you pay very expensively.
Very expensive.
Hey, that's so now, in terms of the future of ISP, how do you see it, or even just taking? First of all, classify ISP, then tech in general. So,
the way I see the future from the perspective, we have a very small company, so we can only see our headroom, our horizon is not like for the big guys. So the way I see it is we will go like the Indian way. You'll find people, big developers, will register for their own licenses. That will happen. And they will have partnerships with the small ISPs, but they will be the ISPs. I'll give you an example with water. Before, everybody would connect to the Nairobi water. But now everybody has their own borehole, or they have an agreement as 5 developers to sink a borehole and have their own water. That will happen. It's not a matter of if. Number 2, the model of having you being able to create your own bundle at home, that will come. It is a must, where you will be able to create your own bundle and say, on Monday I want 10 gig or I want 100 Mbps, but on Tuesday I want 10. That will also come. Then there will be an influx of public Wi-Fi. How they will be regulated, I'm not sure. I'm predicting according to what I'm seeing happen.
Sure.
Then tech in general, I see Kenyans becoming, the Eastern Europeans of how they've taken over Africa.
Yeah.
I see Kenya being the ones providing systems. We have amazing products that do not leave Kenya. But I see now, and the reason I give that prediction is because of there's a time I went to India and I saw the way Indians and Chinese operate is, unaona vile sisi tunaleanga kuku, Murang'a for avocados, Kitale for majani chai. For them, it's this area for leather production. But then the young people actually become the marketers of that. You understand? So you'll find you're going to India we're going to buy training equipment. But where you've gone, all the neighbors actually manufacture the training equipment, and then they have like a marketing company owned by young people. So it's young Kenyans taking these products now to other African countries, but not necessarily being the ones to create them. Because you'll find somebody has a brilliant system in insurance, in petty cash, in whatever it is, but that thing is only in Kenya. Somebody else will just come, agree with this company that, okay, allow me to take this to Zambia and we'll have a revenue share of 50%, for example.
Yes.
Now that is a brilliant model because it increases the revenue for this company, and they don't need to invest anything in Zambia, and now they have a partner who is a Kenyan where they correlate very well. And I think that is something I would do, and I feel like that will make Kenya the hub of IT for Africa. And also, lastly, there are companies that I've seen doing what you call augmented IT. So this is, you find companies in Eastern Europe suffer a lot with labor. Kenya, we have a lot of labor. We suffer a lot with unemployment. So it's Eastern European companies that are setting up in Kenya. So what they do is they are an extension of the IT company. Because if you talk to many people from Europe, they'll tell you, even the guys who are in IT there don't want to work. You see? But in Kenya, we want to work. So you find the challenge I have is that it's not Kenyans setting up these companies here. You see? It's the Eastern Europeans themselves coming to Kenya. Anajita mzungu kidogo, ananunua mahali, set up like a big place where now they go and get the contracts, come and employ Kenyans to handle the task. Yes, it's a way to create employment, but it's something that can really reduce unemployment in Kenya. Training of AI, most of the centers were here. But it's just that there was not much of goodwill.
Actually, we were having a conversation the other day. You see these M-dashes and all that. ChatGPT actually speaks like the Kenyan corporate. Like you see how we used to write emails and all that. ChatGPT speaks like a Kenyan.
Because most of the training was being done here in Nakuru. Yes. There was a lot of training of those AI models here in Kenya. Like show a picture, say what that is. It's just that still hakuna your goodwill. But Kenyans are brilliant. Trust me. Yo vitu nasema speaking Kenyan. I'm telling you it is Kenyan. Not maybe. It is Kenyan. Unaona? It is Kenyan. So but your goodwill ndio the labor iko. What you need is just these ideas to before we focus on my Europe na huko, just first focus on Africa. Alafu tuone.
Now, social media and startups. There's this thing called social media commerce.
Yes.
And it's a real thing.
It is.
How has it been for you?
Amazing. So, but some of these things we copy. I watched a guy called Steve Bartlett who runs the Diary of a CEO.
Yes.
Say he's investing in people who are socialpreneurs. So you have your own podcast, but then you also have your own product. So you have Daddy Blessing and you have t-shirts by Daddy Blessing. So he invests in that. Why? That's the best way to, you see, before having a billboard was expensive, running a radio. There's a time I wanted to run a radio commercial and they told me the minimum budget on one of the radio morning shows was between 600,000 and 1.5 million. 600,000 can create one of the biggest TikTok accounts in Kenya with 600,000. So I didn't know until I met a few. So when I was starting, I was a bit shy. I didn't want my friends to see me online. Huyu anashinda akipiga story online and all that. But I think I met Anmo here. Then I met Nyandia. Then I looked at Tony Ndongo. I looked at you. And I looked at Elvis. And I reached out to everyone. And the good thing is all of you guys are very forthcoming with, and you're willing to help. So that has helped me because we have, like, almost all our sales are from online.
Yeah.
And I would advise anybody who's struggling out there, first thing is start with online. So Steve Bartlett invests mostly on people who have they are online but have a company on the side because they stop depending on brands.
Yeah.
That is where the problem is. Anybody who depend on brands won't make money on social media because you see, like now me, I've been approached by different brands. Some that I've turned down.
Yeah.
And why do I turn them down? Because my ideal client requires Steve with this avatar. Steve anaka bado ni kijana wa mtaa. Sindio? Na bado mimi ni kijana wa mtaa. That is what they want to see. But this company comes and tells me, you have to be polished. You have to speak like this. You have to dress like this. Your videos have to look like this. You can't shoot random videos. And I turn them down because the avatar of the person I'm speaking to does not look like that. If I start looking like, uko fast, una fly first class, you are doing what, you are driving this kind of car, that is not the kind of person who is a normal average Kenyan.
Absolutely.
An average Kenyan, if less than how many percent earn over 100,000, then why do you want me maybe to wear a suit in my podcast?
Yeah.
It will not make sense.
True.
I'm not speaking to the average Kenyan. Yes. But it is amazing. It has been amazing. It has been 1 year, but 1 year of a lot of blessings. We give glory to God because now the brands that we work with understand, are those that are willing to understand that this is how we speak. Mi nitaongea Sheng, nitaongea Kiswahili, mix kidogo English here for Ugandans, hivyo. And those who accept, we work with them. We don't change to fit the company. It's the company to accept this is how it is, and that's how we work.
Without giving details on anything, what do we expect from ISP Man and
Steve in 2026? So we expect to maybe feature 10 countries this year.
Sure.
So we'll do like a bus. We'll take a bus, let's say from here, go to Uganda, go to South Sudan, go to Eastern DRC, go to Rwanda. We expect to launch ISP Man at least in 10 African countries this year. So that will change. It is not just kusema, ni kusema na kutenda.
Sure.
So we say we want to go to Africa. We will actually go there and show you. We are starting now in Zambia. These are the challenges. Because, there's maybe barriers, the culture. We are heavily... Africa is where we have different cultures. You go to this country, it is totally different from the neighbor across. So that is what you expect in 2026. We will take content more seriously. Again, we will take it another notch higher. Because I think one of the best things I think you can leave your child now is no longer a flat. I think it's a big TikTok account. It will make more sense than leaving them a flat. Yes. Give them a TikTok account with 2 million followers and they will make much more money than because they can move to any industry. They can start selling clothes on that TikTok account and sell a lot of clothes.
So now I know we'll have these conversations as we are moving, but allow us to cap it at that for now. So we don't want our guests to preempt things so that we can have them when things are happening.
I agree.
Definitely, when you're launching those companies, we look forward to also having you over and over again.
Yeah.
Because this issue of technology and internet and everything is a growing trend.
Yes.
Like we might switch off these cameras and something just happens before we even leave here. Now that creates another conversation altogether.
Yeah.
So you're very much welcome to the EE Power Talk. I want you to look at camera nyumbani.
Yes.
Tell them where they can follow you,
Okay.
your companies, and how they can engage with you.
Kamera ya nyumbani. So you can follow me on Steve Mwangi Africa. So we were Steve Mwangi KE, changed it to Africa to be able to target Africa on TikTok, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn. So with ISP man, for those who are watching EE Talk outside Kenya, tunakuja. We are coming for you.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, that's the EE Power Talk episode 107. Apologies, I said episode 106 because of becauses on the other one. But see, when you see me, my name is Daddy Blessing. You can follow me on TikTok, Daddy Blessing 254, on Instagram, Daddy Blessing 254, on YouTube, that is the EE Power Talk, and you can also follow our business news, Informa Daily. That is where you'll be getting all news, business, all IPOs that are going, everything that is happening in the market, Informa Daily news. And soon our website is loading. So see you when you see me.